Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we are going to be taking a look at another row of figures from Flustered's custom box. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, stop the video right now, go watch part 1. We took a look at the first row here with all of the honor guards, some amazing ODSTs, and like a marine or two. Today we're going to be moving on to the second row, so really without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. And here is our lineup for today. No honor guards or ODSTs this time, but we've got some really interesting figures. So let's jump in, starting with these two right here. Now, I believe these two are Pillar of Autumn crew members. I think, if my memory serves correctly. The orange uniform in particular, I remember seeing that on like UNSC crew for at least one of the ships. I don't know a ton about like the source material. I haven't seen them a lot clearly because I don't remember exactly where I saw them. But these are still really impressive looking figures. First of all, something about the way the legs and the boots were all painted looks just really nice. It almost does not look painted. Just kind of looks like orange and black with a little bit of wash and some extra printing. And then the faces are done really well. This is a Brohammer head mold, but it's got much more realistic paint overall. The eyes in particular. I don't remember where this head came from. I think maybe Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones line. But it's also painted up equally as good. You can see the detail around the back. They're not overly detailed figures, you know, they're just wearing uniforms. But they both look really good. And this lady does not want to stand up. I guess she's some sort of a pilot or a tech since she's got the belt. Yeah, really interesting figures, really well done. I particularly like the paintwork on the Brohammer head. I don't really think this guy needs much of an introduction. We have Infinite Chief. Everybody should know that at this point. But this guy is very upgraded compared to the default Infinite Chief, or this is not even the default. This is the Comic-Con exclusive Chief. Look at that difference. So the head, I believe, is one of LS3D's heads, which looks fantastic. It's way more accurate. I really wish Mega had done something similar. It's just a little bit wider, which is kind of what we needed for Infinite Chief. And then shoulders. You know, I can see what Mega was going for by using these shoulders, but still. Now, these add-ons do stick out a little far, but that does allow for articulation still, which is something that would be lost if the shoulders were properly, you know, like flush against the shoulder like this. So I think that was a good compromise. Oh, it looks like the base for these shoulders were the Halo 2 Chief shoulders, but they were like cut and spliced. The chest plate is a Halo 2 Chief chest plate with some extra molding on it, I think, and some extra lines. I've seen a lot of people go back and forth between the two chest plates, the Mark IV and the one that Chief used in Halo 2 and 3. Personally, I like the Mark IV. It just looks a little more squared off as opposed to this one. It works, but I just think having it much more square kind of is slightly more accurate. We have the 117 up here, of course. And then the undersuit has a lot more detail. You can see that. And, oh wow, hold on. Look, the like groin armor has the waist going all the way around. Very cool. And then the thigh armor has some little lights. And then the legs have extra molding on them. Extra detail. More of the little screw hole sections. Oh my gosh, and the back chest plate is accurate. That's amazing. Also, if you look closely, you can see his little AI chip slot is glowing blue, which means the weapon is currently active inside his helmet. How cool is that? We've even got the little lights and everything. For a little bit of a comparison, I thought I'd bring in the 1000 Toys Chief, because he's pretty much, if you took Chief out of the screen and turned him into an action figure, that's pretty much what this guy is. he is as close to screen accurate as possible. So I figured we'd kind of compare these two a little bit. I can see the choice to use that chest plate. It definitely makes sense. See, they both kind of make sense. So that's a tough choice. Yeah, I can see why people go back and forth. And then the feet, yeah, the feet are definitely more accurate. A little stubby, but of course it's Mega Construx. It's always stubby. Helmets are almost identical. You know, just one smaller. You can see the shoulders on Chief definitely sit closer. But what 1000 Toys did was just move the shoulder pad. You can't really do that with Mega. I guess you could try to put a hinge, but I feel like that would break pretty easily. And then around the back. Yes, it's accurate. Why didn't Mega do that? Very, very cool. That's this is what Mega should have aimed for when they were making their Chief, not necessarily what they did. I mean, I love this figure, don't get me wrong, but imagine if we had gotten the parts to make Chief like this. That would have been so good. Next up, we have a Firefall Spartan. Now, the main base of this figure is Mark 7. It's the helmet that makes it Firefall. And I believe this is LS3D's Firefall helmet. That was a fairly recent release from him. It's a little large to me. Just looking at it on this figure, it looks a little large. I think it's a pretty chunky helmet in game, but this looks ever so slightly too large. The problem, though, is if you scaled it down, then you would probably lose some of the molded detail, and it's really sharp. Looks so good, especially, look at that. We've even got a little bit of detail up top. So I think the choice to make it larger was a good one. And then the paintwork on it is absolutely fantastic, especially that visor. The visor color choice is really interesting as well. I don't recognize this, what do they call them? My brain wants to say shader, but that's not what they're called in Infinite. You guys know what I mean. This color scheme, I don't recognize it. It's like camo, and it's got some pale like purple and then yellow. I definitely don't recognize it, but it looks really interesting. And it very much fits the Firefall helmet for some reason. I don't know why. It just kind of all really works together. If you go into an Arctic environment, all you're going to see is these yellow things on your chest. So I'm not entirely sure why the designers put the yellow there. But Flustered has done a fantastic job. This is so good. Look at all the camo. There's so much going on. Little green lights back here. That is crazy. I hope Mega does a Firefall helmet of their own at some point in the future. Coatings. They're called coatings. Why did I not remember that? Shaders. That's Destiny. Anyway, we have another coating here that I don't recognize because I'm not really entirely keeping up with the lineup of coatings in Infinite right now, because I know most of them I'm not going to be able to get. But this looks fantastic. It's like this really, really ominous like red camo with white. The white adds a great contrast. And then we've got a little bit of the camo on the face. The camo wraps all the way around to the back on the legs. The legs have some excellent paintwork. And then the sniper rifle shares the same color scheme, albeit with some more white. And then look at this. The screen even has like the little crosshairs on it. That's really cool. Imagine just having to paint all of this camouflage by hand. Like, that's beyond me for sure. Now, on top of that, there are a couple other weapons that have the same shader. I said it again. It's not a shader. It's a coating. So this made my jaw drop. There's like a little symbol here. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's like looks almost like an F. Or maybe it's the Japanese symbol. Is this one of those Japanese coatings? But I have no clue how he did that. Fantastic looking. It's not around on the other side. We do have the ammo counter all painted up. Looking really, really good. And then we have a BR, which is, I believe, LS3D's mold, I think. Well, now I'm not sure because it looks a little stubbier than the ones that I've looked at. Maybe it's from the other guy that LS3D has gotten some parts from. Dougie037, I think that's what its name was. If that's incorrect, I'll put the correct name on the screen. And there will be links in the description to all of the people that worked on these. But that looks really cool. Fits with him. So this is like the entire set of whatever this coating is called. So somebody in the comments, please tell me what this coating is called because it looks fantastic. Our last UNSC figure is, I believe, Spartan Din. And I really am not sure how this was achieved. I think this head is completely like molded. I don't see any like piece of it that's not molded, or maybe there was a helmet underneath. Oh wait, was there a Hermes helmet underneath? Maybe there was a Hermes helmet, and then everything was added on top of it, like all of the things. We have this skull. Look at that. Elite skull strapped onto the shoulder armor. Call of Duty parts for like the rest of the arms and stuff, which makes sense seeing as the Lone Wolf Headhunter guys kind of use not the normal undersuit. Chest plate. I'm not entirely sure what chest plate that was originally. Maybe a Halo 4 Marine. Yeah, I think that's what it was. But now there's a ton of extra like gear added on. The lower arms have extra stuff. That's a Marine shoulder pad. A Halo Wars Marine shoulder pad originally. All a bunch of pouches along the side of the groin armor. The legs have, what's that, a med pack there? And then I don't know what the base was for these exactly because they retained, oh, were they Marine? I think they were Marine. They retained very little of the original design. They're almost like the Fallen Captain legs from Destiny, but armored. So they've got like the kind of spiky toes, nice molded knees. Red, I guess for the lights, maybe on the knees. That is absolutely mind-blowing. The amount of work that went into this figure, like there's almost no recognizable mega parts on here, other than of course just the hands and the shoulder armor. Especially that helmet. I am shocked at how that helmet turned out. So good. If Mega ever does this guy, which I doubt they will, but even if they do, they're never going to equal this. Now we have some Brutes. So this guy right here is the Halo 2 Brute mold, but all painted up gray with blue armor. I don't know where the inspiration for this came from off the top of my head, but it looks really good, and the way the gray is painted, I would have never guessed that this was brown. So let me grab the default blind bag version, which is a great figure, don't get me wrong, but look at that. The wash on the fur especially makes things really, really pop. He didn't really do anything with the face other than just paint it up really good, sharpen the details with a wash. He added some purple onto the harness section. That's really good. I'm not seeing really any paint rubbing either. Sometimes on the, I guess there's a little bit on the elbows. That's usually where it is. It's just, all of this is so even. I would have thought it would be hard to paint this fur texture. Maybe the paint would clot up on it. But somehow he did it, and it looks really, really well done. I'm very impressed by this. Huh. Yeah, somebody tell me in the comments where the inspiration for the gray Brute was, because I don't remember seeing gray Brutes in any of the Halo games. Our next Brute is a Halo Infinite Brute Minor, I believe. Now, he has some modified arms. His legs aren't longer, but his arms are, which gives him definitely a more monkey-like vibe. Now, he used shoulders for the lower arms to make them longer. I'm not entirely convinced that was the right piece to use, just because the shoulder has more of a bend to it, which makes the arm bent even when it's straight, which means there's almost more of a tentacle look when you're posing the figure. Now, when you bend it all the way to like 90 degrees, it definitely looks a little bit more natural, but still, it's got a curve that arms don't usually have. Chest plate looks fantastic. I really like how this center section is, like all the plating kind of over top of itself. We have the Arbiter shoulder pad on this side, and then more normal Brute one on this side. The face, can I take the helmet off? Will it come off? I don't want to pull too hard if the paint has it stuck down. But there is indeed paint on the face under there. Angry teeth, orange eyes. Looks very good. I like the wrappings on the wrists and then on the legs as well. He doesn't seem to be wearing any pants, which I'm not entirely sure he should be doing that. But then again, he is just wearing a chest plate over top of his hairy torso. Some striping on the top of the helmet. So if you want to see the difference between the two. Maybe he is taller somehow, because he's definitely kind of coming above this dude. Is it the... Oh, you know what? I bet you the upper legs are taller. Okay. So he's like a full head taller. And for comparison, there is the Chief. And last but not least, we have this Brute Chieftain. This dude is massive. Here is the default Garrison Pack Chieftain. This dude is a full head taller. He's using the same method as the other guy, shoulders for the lower arms. This one's even more curved. And again, it does make it look a little odd. So I'm not convinced that was the perfect choice. But he's got armor all the way up. He's got more of a bend to his arm than most Mega figures have. Paintwork on the shoulders, fantastic. Paintwork on the helmet. Look at that. Night and day. And then underneath, he has a very terrifying face. I don't want to pull it too much. But he's got like orange eyes, same as the other dude. The chest plate is done really well. Actually, I wonder if this is supposed to be Bassus. This might be Bassus, actually, like officially. I forgot to ask Flustered if it was. He's got some armor there. Paint around the back. Looks really, really good. His kind of elbow armor is the Decimus shoulder pad. Well, I guess it wasn't just Decimus that used it. Some of the other Banished Brutes had it as well. Then, right now, he just has a spiker. Just a plain gray default spiker. Let me bring in Chief again. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Again, I've said this in other videos, but I don't think Mega will ever do scaling like this, which is why customs like this are even cooler, because it's something that Mega themselves will never touch. And, of course, we have a few weapons to look at. I want to go ahead and look at the big one, because it's a Skewer. I believe this is LS3D's Skewer, and the 3D printed detail on this is fantastic. It looks great. And then Flustered just kind of went ham on it and painted it up so well. So look, we got the little sights here. You flip it around, we got orange to show that the targeting is going on. We have some very nice weathered metal look, especially down here at the blade. Then the spike itself has a purple marking on it, as does the little kind of can area in the center, here and here, and down at the end. And then you can see the little section you reload. That looks really good. And next to a figure, it's absolutely huge. I believe it was supposed to go with the Firefall Spartan. So that's what he looks like holding it. Fantastic. If you see somebody pointing this thing at you, I think it's time to run, or else you're going to have a very large metal spike stuck through your head, probably. Yeah, that's awesome. We also have one of LS3D's Heatwave, I think that's what this is. And it is painted up fantastically again. We got some Forerunner orange showing through here, and then some kind of like little glowy bits here, and then some purpley blue gradient to show the glow where the energy is about to come out. You see it at the end, around the side. Then black back here, black even in the little vent there. That looks really good. This was in the compartment with Chief, so I'm assuming Chief was supposed to hold it. So that's what Chief looks like with it. He's going to use it like a handgun, just kind of pop, pop, pop. That looks really good. I feel like I just keep saying that, but it does look really good. That's fantastic. I do have one of LS3D's Heatwaves unpainted, and I'm just like, I'm going to have to take some notes here on, you know, how to paint up mine, because this looks so good. I didn't even know how to achieve a gradient like that, though. And last, but certainly not least, we have a painted Commando. Now, this is Mega's official Commando mold. So let me show you the actual one for comparison. And then this just has a lot of very subtle detailing. It's kind of a greenish, it looks very weathered, fitting of a worn UNSC weapon. It's got this stripe here. There's some blue on the sides. You can see the sight. That looks really cool. I especially like the way the sight looks. A little bit of red back here, a little bit of yellow. Oh, there's stuff on the front of the sight as well. Oh, and it says the VK18 on the front, the model number. And then this was also in the thing with Chief. So Chief can dual wield here. Oh, that's so cool. The Commando is just such a cool weapon. I can't believe I used to hate it, like when it first was revealed. Now that I've seen it in Halo for a while, it's very much a Halo weapon. And Mega still has yet to make a printed one of their own. So this painted one is a fantastic alternative, and possibly better because it's got like the silver wash over it very, very faintly. Makes it look very realistic. A+. Absolutely love this one. I don't know if I like this one or the Skewer better. It's a very close tie. Because I just... The way the Commando worked out is so good. But the Skewer, though, what a beast that thing is. Yeah, all of these weapons are top-notch. Like, just such good work. Absolutely fantastic. Well, there you have it. That is the second row from the custom box. And I think that, once again, Flustered has given us an absolute treat here. These are so well done. The amount of talent that has gone into making these figures is just awe-inspiring, really. So I'm going to keep the ending here short because I think these figures pretty much speak for themselves. So I'm just going to tell you, if you want to purchase any of the figures that Flustered puts up for sale, whether it be these figures or others that he has, go to his Instagram, go down to the description. I will put the link there to his page, LS3's page, and Dougie's page. So go check them all out. But if you're looking to buy any of these figures, go contact Flustered, ask him if they're for sale. Please do not comment down below asking, where can I buy this, or can you sell me these figures, because I'm just borrowing them to show them off to you. They belong to Flustered, so go shoot him a message if you want to get any of these. And that's where we're going to leave it today. So keep your eyes open for part 3, because I think the last part is probably going to be the most crazy. But, you know, guess we're going to have to wait and see. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And I'll see you next time.